Today, I am going to give you 3 reasons and benefits to your performance when you go all in. This will be from personal experience, from being all in and from not being all in, because I also was not all in before and I learned a lot of lessons that I'm going to share with you in this video. So stay tuned until the end so you can learn about these 3 benefits that you get performance-wise when you go all in, and so that you can also learn about the experiences and lessons that I went through when I wasn't all in, because that's what you don't want to, that's the position you don't want to be in. So that's the part that you actually also want to listen to as well. So stay until the end so you can hear all of these benefits, because it will tremendously benefit you if you're an entrepreneur, if you're someone that's going out there into the world and looking to create something where you have to earn it, where you're not given. So first performance benefit that you get when you go all in is that the opposite sex doesn't distract you as easily as it normally does when you're not all in. For men, it will be women as a distraction. For women, it will be men as a distraction. When you're all in on your avenue, when you're all in on your job, when you're all in on your work, when you're so focused on what you're doing right now, becoming your best at what you're doing, thinking of just leveling up because you have responsibilities. But not only where you're all in because you have to be all in, but where you're all in because you want to be all in, body, mind, and spirit. What happens is that the opposite sex doesn't distract you as easily. Yes, you still have these moments where you want to go out and engage verbally with the opposite sex, because the male energy does desire for the female energy, or the presence of the female energy in the male's presence. So you still have those moments where you crave the female energy. But when you're all in, it's a lot easier to accept the moment of that desire, of that craving, but to surpass right through that and to continue back with work. When you're distracted, when you're not all in, it's a lot easier to see that engagement with women as an outlet, as let me take a break. It's a way to find an excuse to do something. So to sum up, number 1 is that you're not as distracted from the opposite sex, and because you're all focused. And yes, you still get the cravings of, hey, I want to actually go and just speak to women, hang around women, just be in the presence of women. But it's a lot easier to get out of that and get back to work, because at the end of the day, the work is the focus. Especially as a man, your work, your mission is the focus. The woman will come and go. Number 2 is that you start giving all your mental effort onto a singular focus. You start giving all your mental effort onto a singular focus. And what this means is that when you're all in, you start getting deeper into the field. You desire to get deeper into the field that you're embarking on, and you end up figuring out the little details required to progress to the next phase. If you're not all in, because before I did ventures where I was not all in, and you don't see the finer details as you would when you are all in. So when you have this singular focus, when you start giving all your mental effort onto one thing only, you're able to really get beneath the layers within that industry and see the finer details. The finer details that can allow you and help you to progress to the next phase. Very, very critical to understand this and to embody this, because this will help you on your journey. My goal is to share blessings with you, and this is how I can share it, by sharing with you from my personal experience and my mistakes of attention, so that you don't make those same mistakes of attention. Does that make sense? So that's the second thing. Now, I'm going on to the third point right now. By the way, subscribe to the channel, like, and comment right now what you thought about those first 2 points. How does it resonate with you? Do you agree with it? Do you not? Comment below, subscribe to the channel. That's number 2. Number 3 is that other industries and opportunities don't really interest you as much. When you're all in, and because you're so dialed in, you don't have any interest in exploring other industries other than the one that you're currently in right now. There's something that happens when you're in an industry, dialed in, body, mind, and spirit, that you, especially when it's an industry, you know that this thing can take you to the next level that you need to be. You know, without a doubt, not 99%, 100% that it will take you to the next step where you need to go, And then from that point, you'll readjust your plan. But the whole goal is to get to the next step. Before, I used to think of 5 steps ahead and think of how can I get to the first step, instead of understanding my position in the game and knowing that, all right, my whole goal is to just get to the next logical step. That's it. When I get there, I'll be able to see further. And that's how you want to think. So when you focus on one thing, because you're so dialed in, you don't give any interest to other opportunities. Opportunities will come to you, things will come to you, but it's a lot easier to say no and to put your blinders on and to just stay focused, because once again, what's the goal? The goal is for you to make money. So you're going to use the vehicle that you know 100% can get you there. When you get there, then you can go and explore something else. That's the point of that number 3. 3.2, which is your attention is intensified while pursuing a goal that pursues your most sacred ambitions. Now, I had to write this down because I wanted to make sure that I read it to you word by word, because that's what I experienced, is that your intention and attention is intensified while pursuing a goal that pursues your most sacred ambition. So if your ambitions are to do something and you're dialed in on something that can help you do what your ambitions are, you are so dialed in, there's no words that you can put on how in flow you feel. So, coming to my story, my personal experience, and those are the 3 pointers, by the way, the 3 benefits that you get, performance benefits that you get when you're dialed in on one industry. My personal experience is that I used to not be the guy that was dialed in on one industry. I used to be in on one industry, but when opportunities would present themselves, I would try and take all of them, because I had this mindset that opportunities only come once in a while. And I had this mindset of when opportunity comes to you, it's meant to come to you. Sometimes there are certain phases that you have to go through where every opportunity is not the right opportunity for you. And I thought that every opportunity was the right opportunity for me. So I took everything. So I'd always be adding on things on what I was doing. And it's impossible. Okay, I'm going to take that word back. It's not impossible, but depending on where you're at in the game, especially when you're lower in the game, when you're starting out in the game, anywhere from $0 to $10 million, you don't really want to be splitting your focus like that. When you're $10 million plus, yes, you have a lot of capital and you have a lot of people already, so you can leverage those 2 things to build onto other opportunities. So you can leverage yourself into get onto 8-figure, 9-figure opportunities with the use of your capital, with the use of people that you already have through the relationships that you have built on your way up to $10 million, if that makes sense. So I got easily distracted by other money opportunities because I wasn't dialed in on one specific thing all in. The second point from my personal experience is that I was emotionally split up, because your gut will pull you in one direction one way and it will pull you in another direction another way, especially when you work on multiple avenues. You go through these phases where one day you're doing one thing and one day you have to do the other thing because you have to do the other thing because you took that on your plate. And then you end up splitting yourself and spreading yourself thin. You spread your mental capacity. I spreaded my mental capacity. I spreaded my mental focus. And it was very hard for me to be dialed in onto one thing because I kept on taking every opportunity that came to me, thinking that that was the right thing to do when it wasn't. Not at that time not at the level that I was in. So, a disclaimer, yes, you want to have multiple streams of income, but only have multiple streams of income once you know that you're at the right level. If you're not at the right level, which is usually at the beginning, it's better to focus on one thing. Why? If you look at every individual that is 100 million plus net worth, many of them, the ones I've studied, haven't studied all, but the lots that I've studied and some that I personally know have all focused on one avenue up until they got to at least the first million. Some have focused on one until they got to their first 10 million. Some have focused on one until they got to their first 100,000. So understand the level of the game that you're in, understand what opportunities you're presented with, what you can leverage, what is proven and what is not. And then understand that when you get to a certain level, you can do certain things based on the capital and the leverage that you have. If you don't have those two things, you might have to stay in one opportunity for a little bit longer to either build the capital or to build the leverage through people. When you have those things, then you can continue to build that. So that's number two. Number three is that I had confusion as to what avenue to split or what avenue to give attention to on a daily basis. And that's a very annoying position to be in, because you wake up one morning and you say, all right, I have to do this thing in this avenue, but I also have to do this thing in the other avenue. Which one is more important? Which one is the highest ROI activity? Which one should I really spend my time on? Which one is my priority? And when you have to ask this question to yourself every single day, you end up just wasting a lot of mental energy that you could have been spending when you're dialed in on one specific thing. And these are all things that I personally went through. So like I said, my job here is just to share with you mistakes that I've made from my experiences, and so that you as an entrepreneur don't make the same mistakes that I made. I want you to have a smoother journey than I made. I want you to hit the goals that I'm hitting. I want you to hit it faster than I'm hitting it by learning from my mistakes, because I didn't really have anyone to learn from, and I hope that you can learn from what I'm sharing with you. So those are the 3 points, the 3 benefits you get from going all in. And that's a personal backstory of myself, being on the other spectrum of not being all in. And that's a position you don't want to be in. Try your best, especially when you're anywhere from let's say zero to about 10 million. Let's bring it down to about $1 million. I'm talking about $1 million in savings. If you don't have $1 million in savings cash on hand, you might want to consider focusing on one thing first and just becoming extremely good at that one thing that you have, and then working on stacking on that and leveraging on that as you progress. But try not to take on multiple things on your plate, because you will spread yourself thin. So if you like this video, comment on this video, like and subscribe. We give free content, free material, free courses. We give you free access to subscribers, but you can only get that as a subscriber. So subscribe so you can get this access. This is material, this is content, this is courses that have been changing my life, that have changed my life, that are currently making a big impact on my life, and you can only get that as a subscriber. So subscribe.